Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Evergreen Open Plan meeting. So, weekly meeting that we have every week at that hour, roughly, even there when there's no time zone changes. So this week, I'm gonna handle the thing. I'm gonna just start sharing my screen right away on that. Oh, I can't do that. So anyway.
You want me to share screen? Oh, no, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to share a single screen, but for whatever reason with i3 it wasn't working on another one. Anyway, that's a big issue. So I guess let's get started with you, Mandy. How was the week and how?
Well, I've only been minimally involved right now, so I am working on fixing the bad test that you pointed out to me. Good job.
By the way,
Yeah.
why didn't it happen appear here?
Take off the exclude closed. It's one of those weird Jira things.
Ah, because of the fact it was fixed and then back to in progress, but it's taking into account probably the fixed thingy.
You can't get rid of that state. It's very frustrating. I've
I
dealt with
think
that.
you can, but you have to reopen probably instead of just getting it back. Where is it?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ticket's
Anyways,
there.
I'm
Oh,
working
that's
on
the one.
fixing that, and I will have it fixed and checked back in today.
So that's that. Basically, for people watching, it's so that was not the one, by the way. It was more that one. So
Yep, that
it
one.
just showed up. I don't understand. Okay, because it's closed here. Okay, it's really weird. Anyway, right. So great. Thank you. Anything else?
Not right now.
Thank you. So
The make check fails on macOS ticket that you've got, Mandy. Why don't we just unassign that, and maybe we can convince somebody else in the Jenkins project to help with that, because I know Batiste and I don't have Macs.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and unassign the ones that I'm not going to get to anytime soon, and hopefully somebody else feels super motivated to pick them up.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to fight with Docker on macOS.
Totally.
Yeah, well, it's going to require significant refactoring of how we're doing Docker because everything from Mac has to be explicitly spelled out. And the last time I went down that road, it broke my head.
Fair enough.
I wonder how long and hard it would be to fix it now because I have never tried it, but I remember in the very beginning, so it was less convoluted and we had less tests and setups and everything. I remember Nicolas Deloff fixed the make check that wasn't working on macOS for some time, but I guess it failed. It's now failing again for some other reason. So yeah. Last week, and I spent the same time last week actually unassigning myself too. So now I think we have a bunch of things that are supposedly planned for milestone 2, but that are unassigned. So anyone watching, feel free to reach out. So for context, we've also tagged many of those as newbie friendly, which is the things we probably want or can dig into if you're interested into Hacktoberfest. But if it's not tagged this way, I mean, someone can still reach out to us and get guidance to that. Yeah, things can be tackled because, well, we are pretty much very, very eager to have people. So we'll be welcoming anyone who wants to try to give it a go. That's it. Tyler, your turn. You're around here.
Yeah, I'm super behind. Most of my my Evergreen time has actually been consumed by Daniel as uplink time, unfortunately. So I know that Olivier was going to take a look at the read-only database access for y'all. So I think that's, yeah, he's got that in there. I don't know where he is on that. In the infra status meeting yesterday, we didn't discuss it because it just completely slipped my mind.
Yeah, from what I know, because we've discussed that way bit, the idea is going to be, so there's no possibility to open easily Azure to some set of IPs or something like this. So
Mhm.
what he's doing right now is to set up a gateway machine so that we would then make run so in that on that machine a Docker image with pre-provisioned public SSH keys, so that people allowed to go and to reach out to that DB. Their public key would be there, and then hence be allowed to connect to that gateway machine, having access to the DB in read-only mode.
Right.
So we
Right.
probably want to make a check here, Mandy, because I provided to Olivier a link to my own pub key. But if you want to do the same, I guess it would probably help save an iteration there if you get access directly.
Okay.
So he's got that going on. The only other thing that's, say, a little bit block-like right now is there's these telemetry analytics and pipeline usage telemetry things. I'm still waiting for the pipeline developers to give me a sense of what they actually want or what they would actually need before moving forward on that. So these are, I'm going to add a flag because these are all kind of blocked.
So I guess you mean the 49852, that one?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. And now they all have flags on them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you refresh your board, you'll see that.
Oh my God, flags!
Flags!
Flags everywhere.
But in parallel to that, this is related to this work, but also to the uplink work that I've been doing with Daniel. Been researching some other open source projects' privacy policies with how they handle this sort of telemetry data.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and put the KDE one in the Gitter channel. This is likely what we'll build off of. I think KDE actually has done a pretty good job on this.
Okay.
But this is probably going to be where I'm going to be spending my Evergreen time this week, is actually forming this into a JEP and explaining it to people. Because as it stands right now, like, technically I can grant access to some of the telemetry that we've been collecting, and we've got this information going into Sentry as well, as you both know, but we don't have any policies for how that data should be used or expectations set for users on how that data is going to be used. And we need that for both contributors and for end users before we start putting a lot more, I would say, rich metrics and telemetry into any of our project systems.
So did you, for instance, understand a bit more about, for instance, GDPR and the fact that will we be forced to have some kind of, when the image is started, some kind of agreement, or would be in the wizard, something like this?
For GDPR compliance, I haven't had a conversation with someone specifically about Evergreen on that. I think what we are probably going to want to do, regardless of GDPR, is once we have a data retention policy, make that known to the end user.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we can come up with anything. Personally, I think these are stupid, but I don't think we can necessarily come up with a click OK to acknowledge and to agree to this sort of stuff. I think we have to make that more clear before a user starts Evergreen, and once Evergreen is up and running, what sort of data is being collected.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we can have an explicit, OK modal checkbox.
Yep.
The biggest concerns that I have are less about Evergreen and more about uplink telemetry and our data retention policies there. So Evergreen, I think, is actually going to be a little bit easier. Uplink is less easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Policy. That's what I'm hacking this week. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Managerial things.
Yes. So many.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, and after last week, I know we said, or our last meeting, we said, "Hey Joe, if you're watching, send us an email." I haven't received an email from Joe,
Cool.
so we don't have any updates on an ECS based cloud formation template. So there's that.
Finally, I'm not sure I understood what you were saying. So you said you received or you didn't receive an email?
Did not.
Okay, didn't. Okay, did not. Right. I thought you said I did. So yeah. Okay. Right. So we'll probably just do a grep or something to find all Joes around San Francisco, I suppose.
I don't know where he was located.
That's or just expand to the US. That's should
Yeah. He was an American, so
Yeah.
there's some Joe in the United States that is the Joe we're looking for.
Yeah. Indeed, you know some Joes? Anyway, so I guess that's all, or well, I guess you could
Yeah,
talk
that's all
forever.
from me.
Is there anything else you want to talk about Jenkins in general?
No, not for me.
You could.
Not today.
So I'm gonna just hide close once. Where I am here. So the status right now, I've got a bit more to talk about than last week, which is dangerous for people watching. So the Evergreen automated rollback is now in review and almost reviewed, I would say, about to be mergeable or merged, which is that one on the right. Then I've segregated two changes here. So that one is really about updating to a new update level and then realizing that Jenkins wouldn't start after it, and then actually automatically running back to the previous one, but that doesn't handle any data format change. So if, for instance, that's what I'm now working on, there's something going wrong after an upgrade and something that data format has been upgraded, then we go back and everything, is screwed up because it's not backward compatible. That's the other one I'm working on in the very center, so the 57 at the end. But that one is blocked right now, kind of, but I'm still moving forward globally on that global story, which is that one. Basically,
What's it blocked on?
What? Sorry?
What is it blocked on?
On that one.
Oh, they're just dependent. Okay.
Yeah. There's a is
Gotcha.
blocked on dependency between that one and that one, because basically I'm right now working on something that will make me able to test that my rollback is actually working. Because then, if I don't, then I could just roll back and be happy. But if it could just not be working. So I've been spending and getting a bit crazy on that for almost the whole day, because believe it or not, I've not been able to crush Jenkins. We were talking about that on the chat just before. I'm maybe going to try an alternative way, even if I do know some ways, but for some reason I wasn't able to do that. But for instance, working on purpose the config as code files between.
If you need help crashing Jenkins, I know Carl Schultz. I think he might have some ideas for you.
Yeah. So I want really. So my main purpose here is to exercise the one below, right? So the 54057. So basically, I want to make sure the snapshot data snapshotting system, and so using it as a restore system works. So this is somewhat specific. So what I was trying the whole day was to have some plugin that would, change its data format and upgrade from one version to another and then back and have it crash. But I think I'm missing something obvious. But the good thing is that I pinged actually people knowing about Jenkins a bit earlier in the day, and Jesse told me that it wouldn't be easy, so I wasn't getting totally crazy and out of because well, even Jesse said, well, it's going to be a bit hard. The alternative for doing that actually might be simpler if I go another way, which would be actually by using Docker exec during our tests, breaking or changing some config as code files, because we know also config as code is written in a way that it actually crash Jenkins during startup if YAML files are incorrect. So that might be a way, maybe a better way. I'm not sure. Anyway, overall, what we want to test is indeed if we are to actually be able to go from one update level to the other,
So
and go back.
for your purposes, what do you need to see from Jenkins to indicate a crash of Jenkins?
Let's see it the other way around. I need to not see it. The JEP 306, which describes how health checking is done. Basically, I need the health checking to be wrong.
Okay. If it's not available,
yep.
Does that count as wrong?
Yep, because a health checking then will fail after timeout. So it will consider that Jenkins is unreachable and then revert or roll back.
So one thing that you might consider trying is with Jenkins, if you have two Jenkins instances running with the same Jenkins home, the Jenkins will fail, and it'll fail to boot. Like it doesn't even boot properly. So there's some file, and I can't remember which file it is, that indicates to Jenkins that it is currently running. It's like a PID file or something like that.
Yeah.
For your test, it might be viable to just artificially create that file so that Jenkins thinks that another instance is using that directory.
Yeah, that's a good point, though it might also reveal something we don't cover. And because actually I had a look at that code recently, and I don't remember exactly which classes, but I think it was someone asking for it on IRC or something. But basically, maybe that file is actually out of the Jenkins home, maybe on top. Oh, probably there, yeah. Because I was thinking, because the JEP 302 is only, snapshotting the Jenkins home. So if it's like under Jenkins var, then things wouldn't be reverted. But yes, that's an ID. That's another alternative ID to actually touch that file. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to try a few alternatives and should be finding something at some point and not before the end of the week. By the way, about that, that makes me think, on Friday of this week, I will be in Copenhagen just for the day to have a talk about...
That's the day of Jenkins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So we are
What are you presenting?
Something about Evergreen. How do you think?
Are you not sure yet what you're going to present?
No, I'm kidding. So it's Day of Jenkins. So that's that thing. And so I am presenting basically Evergreen.
I know some of these faces.
Yeah, some.
Okay.
And so I'll see how I do things until the end of the week, but I'm not sure I'm going to try and time box the time I spent on the snapshotting, I think, because I would like possibly to table that for some time and maybe try to get AWS flavor back to working, because it might be interesting to show that during the demo during that conference, and overall useful for users and everything. So yeah, if anyone has any opinion about that, that could adjust my take. But yeah. And after while I'm thinking about that, after the conference, I'm on holiday for 1 week. Anyone else? Anyone here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Cool. So we are on time, or we are running out of time, basically. So anything else before we close?
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
Not at the moment.
Thanks. So thanks everybody. And so I'm going to stop
See you
the
later.
broadcast, and bye-bye.